Good evening, and welcome to Creative Broadcasting, the station of unlimited possibilities. Presents Creating Your Seat at the Table with your host, Ashley Little, as she welcomes her guest to the table.
Welcome to Creating Your Seat at the Table. I am your host, Ashley Little. A little bit about myself: corporate professional by day, entrepreneur by night, 5-time best-selling author, CEO and founder of Ashley Little Enterprises, LLC, owner and creator of Creative Broadcasting, and co-founder and owner of Talk Radio and TV Network, LLP. Tonight we have an amazing special VIP guest by the name of PK Dixon. A little bit about her. Patrina Dixon is a Certified Financial Education Instructor, international speaker, award-winning author, founder of It's My Money, and she hosts the Money Exchange podcast, which is dedicated to sharing stories on how everyday people are implementing various strategies to build wealth. Patrina's been quoted on blackenterprise.com and has facilitated financial workshops for many organizations, including AARP and Chase. PK is also the host of It's My Money local TV show in Connecticut. Patrina is married, a mom, and lives in Connecticut. Welcome to the table, the amazing PK Dixon.
Thank you, Ashley, for having me.
You are welcome. I'm sure you're going to leave my audience with a lot of nuggets, so let's jump right into it. So please tell us more about your entrepreneur journey.
Sure. So I'm what most would call a dualpreneur. I work a 9 to 5, and then I am the CEO of my business for all the other hours of the day. I've been doing that for almost 4 years now, and I enjoy every minute of it. I got started in the business of finance when, after I got my money right and learned all the various ways to do it right, I wanted to go out and share with others how to do so. So I do that in many different facets, and each year I add on another way for which I can reach the masses across the country.
I love that. And shout out to our dualpreneurs, right? I'm one of those.
Yes.
Yes. So, PK, you are very passionate about financial education and building wealth. So please tell us more about your passion.
Sure. So, as I mentioned, I made a lot of money, and I was spending a lot of money. I had none saved. I didn't have any investments. I just went to work, got paid the next person, and that means paying my mortgage, paying my car payment, then going to the mall, going out to eat, and I didn't know how to build wealth. I didn't even know what that was about, and as I mentioned, once I learned how to do it, I was really methodical in how I worked my money and saved my money and budgeted my money, and when I got what I would call on the other side, I just wanted to share with everyone. I'm like, there really aren't like these secrets that are on the shelves that are only accessible by a few. It really put these really practical steps in place. You can do different by your money, and that's what started me off. That's how I got started, and usually when I'm out talking about it, I share tidbits of my own story that if I can do it, others can do it as well.
Absolutely, and that's so important, right? Because, finance, a lot of people don't want to talk about the finances, right? And so thank you for creating that space to make it interesting and making it vulnerable where people are open to talk about it, because a lot of people don't like to talk about it, which they should, though, because it's important. It's very important. So
exactly right, and that's actually one of the reasons why I like working with young people, because I wish I knew back then what I know now. So my goal, and even within my first book, I target high school, and then my second book is going to be targeted towards the 19 to 25 age, because I feel like, because I know, I should say, that personal finance is not consistently taught in high school, that is the area for which if they know better, hopefully they will do better. So I work a lot with that age group. So these are the tools. Here are the tips that can get you started off on the right financial footing versus having a story like mine, which is actually a good one, but needing to crawl out of debt and needing to figure out and find money to save money. That does not have to be the story of our youth, and that's why I spend a lot of time working with our youth to help them get started off right.
I love that because that's so needed, right? You know, to alleviate them going through some of the things that some people have experienced when, you know, getting credit cards and all that, all those things in colleges and messing up credit and all of that. So thank you for starting in the high school to alleviate that from happening.
Sure, absolutely. You're welcome.
You are the founder of It's My Money. So please tell us more about your company and your different services that you offer.
Sure, absolutely. So my business name is actually called Patrina Dixon Consulting, and this and that, after my first book came out, which is entitled It's My Money, It's My Money became what I call its own brand and then formed into a mission. And the mission is to have everybody proclaim that they are taking control of their money. They're going to pay lower interest rates when they do have to get credit. They're going to have higher interest when it comes to savings accounts. They're going to do all these things right by their money. So that's how It's My Money was born. And within my company, Patrina Dixon Consultant, and through the It's My Money arm of the company, I do a lot of on-site workshops. So I go to various different high schools, colleges, and organizations within organizations where they pay me to come in and talk to people about personal finance and developing or sharing with them strategies on how they can do their money differently, and specifically around budgeting, how to create a fluid budget, how to increase their savings, how through budgeting and paying bills on time, how that can translate to your credit scores increasing. And then if need be, if you need to make additional income, you can do that by way of side hustles.
I love that. So definitely reach out to PK if you need some of her services. She's doing some amazing things. And for people that really don't want to talk about your finance, you really need to talk about it and get help. You know, get help from an expert that have been there and done that to get the assistance that you need to get better in your finances. So PK, why is building legacy so important?
Oh man, it's wickedly important because, you know, we what I would call hustle and grind every day. And why do that when you don't have a legacy and not leave a legacy behind? Like the goal is, and my why is, I always use my daughter as an example, is letting her know as a strong Black woman with the work ethic that she has, like I do, that you can do whatever you want to do, and then others that look to what you're doing can have aspirations to do whatever it is that they want to do as well. So this is wickedly important to leave a legacy. So when I'm no longer here one day, I want them to say she did everything she could to ensure our young people get started off right in their finances so they won't contribute to the crazy number of debt that this country now has.
Yes, that is, you know, a lot of people, you're right. You're working, you're hustling, but you're not leaving nothing behind. So you have to create, making sure you're creating wealth and building wealth and legacy. That is so important because, you know, you don't want to be in a situation where you're doing these GoFundMes and all of that. You need to prepare for what, you know, you have to prepare for the future, be able to leave things behind for your family. And I don't know if
exactly
a lot of people,
right.
Do you think a lot of people are just not educated on that, or do you think it's a lack of knowledge? What is it?
You know what? I think it's a combination of several different things. At least working with my own story again, family members that I know, clients that I've had. I think it's a combination of lack of knowledge, in some situations, scared. A lot of people, when they talk and use it specifically life insurance, they think, oh, when I start talking about that, I'm no longer going to be here, or I don't want people to start to think about how to get rid of me because now they have this new policy. I've heard so many different stories. It's incredible. But what I will say, I think that now more people like my colleagues and I are talking about it, are sharing what we're doing on social media across all of the various platforms that we have. I think it's becoming where people, if they're not actually doing what they're supposed to, their interest is piqued on, wait a minute, how is she doing it? We work at the same place, or we go to the same church, or we do whatever. And why is this person amassing so much in the financial space, and I'm still at this level? So even if it's for different reasons, people are now having a higher peak interest on how can I do that too? So, which is actually a really good thing.
Yes. So thank you for shining light in that area because I think that is so important. So what are some strategies, PK, you would give to listeners who feel like they're stuck in their finances? To that listener that feels like there's no way out, what is some advice you would give to them?
Yeah, you know what? It may sound very elementary, but start off with the budget. I think when I work with clients, we sit down and not go on hypothetical, oh, I bring this home, or I think my light bill is this, I think my gas bill is this. When you actually take your actual bills, your actual statement, along with your income, and sit down with that on every, whatever frequency you get paid, if it's monthly, weekly, bi-weekly, sit down with your bills and write down your income and write down what you have going out and look at that on a very regular basis. Just the awareness of what you have coming in and going out changes how you look at things. So if you're so used to getting paid and as soon as you pick up the kids, you go out, for a nice meal because that's payday, and then you do that you get paid on Friday, do that on Saturday, and maybe even Sunday. If you can't really afford to do that because you looked at your numbers, maybe, I'm not saying you can't do it, but you do it on one day and not all 3 days. So it's little things like that actually becomes habits that actually get in the way from paying your bills, and then the second part, which is saving.
Awesome. Because, I know there might be some listeners that are trying to figure out where to start. And like she said, start with a budget. Start with a budget. But it's so important.
Yes, and at the top of that budget, actually, if you don't mind me saying, the top of the budget, and if anybody on this listening follows me or will after this, is I always say pay yourself first. So I don't usually say how much you should pay in percentage or dollar amount. It's just have a set amount that you're going to pay yourself first, and if possible, automate that. So get that out of the way, just like if it was another tax. So have that going directly into a savings account that you have access to. And this is, even if you have retirement, 401k, all of that, that's great. But then I'm also suggesting paying yourself first by way of automating some to a savings account. If you can do it to an online savings account, that's even better. And then if you work that amount into your budget, and start off small, because I don't want you to start off large and then decrease it. Start off small, and then if you can't increase it as you go along, then you get rid of some of those other expenses that you're doing that you didn't used to write down.
Yes. So definitely I hope everybody that's listening is writing these nuggets down, because she's giving some amazing financial nuggets out, and you're making it sound so interesting and fun at the same time, because I think a lot of people, when they hear finance or budgeting and all that, they dread that, right? But, it can be interesting and fun too, okay? Because we're bettering ourselves.
Exactly right. And let me say too, like, a lot of people don't like the word budget, so I'm learning to use budget and spending plan simultaneously. So whatever you want to call it, just make sure you do it as often as you get paid.
Yes. And so, PK, you are the host of the Money Exchange podcast. So please tell listeners more about your show and how they can support and listen.
Yeah, so I am the host of the Money Exchange podcast. It's separate words, and it's on a bunch of platforms. It's on Apple and Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, SoundCloud, and Pandora, which I'm really proud about. The podcast is interview style, so I have about 35 or so episodes on the platform, and I have guests that come on that talk about things that they've done, by good things that they've done with their money. So, like, my most recent one was somebody who paid off a $195,000 mortgage in less than 4 years. And they just talk about things that they've done that are real practical that most anyone can do, and share the tips that they did along the way. And it's important for people to understand in that story, in the story of my own, and if someone is budgeting as well or creating a spending plan, you may fall off. You may not get it right. You may get frustrated. Don't stop. Just keep going. So if you blew that budget, it's okay. Pull out another budget sheet and do it on your next paycheck. Just keep doing it, and before you know it, it will become a habit, and you'll feel better about it because you'll start to see some of the numbers move in the right way for you. So my podcast is geared towards trying to share with you other people are struggling with this or struggles or are struggling with similar things, and this is what they have done and how it's worked well and things that they bumped up against in their process and how they got over that. So that's what the show is about. Again, it's across all platforms. It's doing really well. My listenership is, global, which is great. So if you could, I would love for you to subscribe to the podcast on whichever platform you like to listen to podcasts on and take a listen. And most importantly, if you like what you've heard, please leave a comment, especially if you're an iPhone user. I love Apple comments. Apple regards those really highly. So if you do like and leave a comment, I would really appreciate it.
Yeah, so definitely tune in and listen to her podcast. Not only get your budget together, but listen to the It's My Money Exchange a podcast as well, the Money Exchange podcast. And not only do you have a podcast, you also have a TV show, a local TV show called It's My Money. Let's talk about that.
I do. So I was fortunate enough to be a guest on a show at a local TV station here in Connecticut. And when I was there, I was talking about my story similarly to what we're doing now. And it was not too far after when my first book was published. So after that, the producer came to me and said, "Hey, we would love to bring your book to life." And I'm like, what does that mean? So they said, "We would love to do an episode on each chapter of your book, and we'll have you talk about it, and then we'll do the episode where you bring in guests." So it has become a weekly show on a local TV station here in Connecticut. That particular show is tied to my first book, where the audience is ages 13 to 18. But it comes on the regular channel here. Folks listen to it, and they also make the segment available on YouTube. So that's been going over really well.
I love it. So definitely tune in and support her. You're doing some amazing things, PK. So super congratulations on all the great things that you're doing.
Thank you. I enjoy what I'm doing so much, and I love when people have the aha moments like, thank you, like that was really small, and I didn't realize I can do it that way, and that changes, sometimes the dynamic of things in one household when they can get their money in order.
Absolutely. And so I asked all of my guests this question because I know that you have continuously build your own table. So how did you create your seat at the table?
Oh, I love this question. How do I create my seat at the table? I guess I want to call it, I just sit down is what I call it. No, I'm just joking. What I find, I think that has worked for me, and we talked about the various different things that I've done or are doing, and it's just like I love what I do. I'm very authentic in why I'm doing what I'm doing and how I got started and how I've been able to sustain. And I think it becomes interesting. And that authenticity sort of makes its way to the table because people want to hear more and allow me to come in and tell more. And I think that has been the thread that has allowed me to sustain through the various different mediums that we've talked about.
Yes. And you have definitely built your table. So you have practiced what you preach. I follow you consistently, and I see you doing a lot, like I said, a lot of great things in the community and serving others and creating other opportunities for others as well. And you make finance fun, right? And because sometimes finance people can be a little, some people think, the myth of it being boring and all of that. You bring a fun, energetic spirit to it.
Thank you so much. And I like that you mentioned the other thing that I would share with folks is support others. You know what I mean? So it's great that people are supporting me, they're watching me, they're following me, but I support a lot of folks, and by way of following, sharing with others. If it's something that's not within my wheelhouse, I share with the colleagues that I know that are doing whatever that they are doing that could be a better set resource for a particular client that may come my way. So I encourage others to support others, and sometimes that support is not directly purchasing their service or their item, but sometimes it is. Sometimes it's going to their event. Sometimes it's sharing their story. Sometimes it's sharing their posts or whatever it is. So do that, and people will do the same for you, I find, as well.
Absolutely, because I'm a big believer in what you make happen for others, God will make happen for you, and that our destiny is tied to our connection. So thank you. And speaking of that, what is your definition of collaboration?
Oh, man. Collaboration is working with people that believe the same thing that you do and have similar aspirations, and you all are trying to reach similar audiences.
Yes. And how has collaboration helped you get to the next level in your career and with your brand thus far?
Oh, man. So I've done several different collaborations from a book perspective. So I have collaborated with 2 different book vendors. I've collaborated with events where I am a co-host, if you will, of events here locally, and I'm looking to do more of that in 2020. And that sort of stuff, what it does is bring awareness to what I'm doing to a group that may not have heard of me otherwise. And I think that's vice versa for the folks that I co-host with. So the more that you can collaborate, and again, I think collaborations you have to align with folks that believe the same things that you do, or have some way there is some chemistry with the type of business that you have and want, and the people that you're collaborating with have, so that it makes sense for the collaboration. But the ones that I have been a part of have worked really well. I want to do more of that in 2020. And the way that it's helped, I think, both is by way of bringing awareness to an audience that we may not have reached if we didn't have the collaboration opportunity.
Absolutely, because I want listeners to get that collaboration, whether it's in the same industry that you're doing, it's not going to take anything away from you to see other people win, and for people to win together with it being a reciprocal relationship, because collaboration is so important when working to get to the next level. Absolutely.
Yeah, and I and on that point, there are a ton of people, and I need more and more as each year that I've been in business that's doing the same thing that I'm doing. But there's a lot of people that are in debt still. There's a lot of people that have student loan debt, credit card debt, living paycheck to paycheck. So we all understand that there are people that need our services. So there isn't one person that has a total monopoly on everything. So there's opportunity. There's a group of people. There's an audience that would be open to what you have to offer. People are going to purchase or work with who they feel best to work with. So I just look at it as there's a need out there that we all have identified, and we're working in our most authentic self to try to deliver the service to the folks that need it. And who needs it will go gravitate to where they want to go and get it from. So I'm enjoying it. My journey has been great.
I love that. And so we all have a process on our journey, right? And so we have to be open to embrace the process, because it's part of getting to the next level. So what did failure teach you on your journey?
Failure has taught me that, let me say it this way. There has been things that have not gone the way that I would like. There have been contracts that I wish I could have signed that I couldn't. And what I say in those situations is it wasn't for me at that time. I've learned a lot, especially from a contract standpoint. You want to have somebody review that, because when you really want a deal, you will just go ahead and sign that line. But there needs to be somebody that can look through it and ensure that there isn't anything that you need to question or maybe have revised based on your business and the business that you're trying to obtain. So, some missed contracts, but some great contracts have come my way in the midst of that. So I just look at that as those were not those projects that was for me at that time, and the ones that were, I was able to get. And that's how I look at that. I learned the things that I told you. I learned that don't quickly read through a contract that you need to sign. Secondly, I learned that, you need to ensure that the project you sign up with fits who you are, so you can be your authentic self.
Absolutely. And embrace the process. Like you said, it's a lesson, right? It's a lesson learned.
Yes.
So you're very successful. So what did success teach you?
Thank you. Success has taught me to be humble. I'm fortunate to have a supporting cast in my husband, my mom, my daughter, and just know that if I didn't have that supporting cast, that I probably couldn't do everything that I do. So I'm humbled in the fact that that is what keeps me grounded, and everything that comes with the success, that I know where my foundation is. And I think that's how I would take that. And I enjoy my work, and I'm glad that others enjoy working with me. That's allowed me to sustain what I'm doing.
Awesome. So we are in the fourth quarter, PK. We are in December now, getting ready to walk into a new decade. And I know that you're going to finish the fourth quarter strong. So what can we expect from you the rest of the year?
In a couple of days, I'll be heading to Florida. I'm doing speaking of collaborations, I have a collaboration with a couple different entities that I've been posting about. I'm going to be working with some high school girls in Jacksonville, Florida. I'm so excited about that. I'm partnering with Midi Things and Goddess Food Factory. I'm so very excited about that. I've been following Simone with Goddess Food Factory for some time in Jacksonville. We finally was able to make something happen. So Simone has been on the Steve Harvey Show and so many different outfits, so I'm excited about that. That actually will be my last project of 2019 from a travel perspective. I'm also excited about that because I host a really big Christmas Eve shindig is what I call it at my house. So I'm looking forward to, the house decorating and all that, and the cooking and the family coming around. So that's it for 2019 from a project perspective. From what I have dropping for early 2020 will be my volume 2 of It's My Money, which has been a bit delayed due to everything that I have had going on, but I'm really looking forward to getting that manuscript in the editor's hand. So I chuckle because she's been waiting it for a while, but I'm through several chapters, so just continuously looking back at it, have a couple more chapters that I wanted to add in, and then getting that project underway. So I'm excited about that.
I love that. Well, super congratulations on all of the great things that you are doing and to finish up the year strong and that you're about to do in 2020. And so I'm just congratulating you in advance.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
You are welcome. So would you please tell our listeners, PK, how they can follow you and support you on all social media platforms?
Sure. So first I want to say, Ashley, thank you so much for having me on your show. I follow you as well, and you are equally successful. And congratulations on everything that you're doing. And again, I'm so glad to be on your show.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So I would first ask, if you are on Facebook, please come on our Facebook community. It's called It's My Money Squad, and that's where I answer questions, financial questions, provide my finance tips almost on a daily basis, if not every other day. So that's a way that you can get questions answered and then be a part of a community that don't mind sharing what they have going on and questions that they may have, and you may find that very interesting. And again, there's no cost to be a part of that community. It's It's My Money Squad. I'm also on Twitter and Instagram, and that the handle is It's My Money _ and then my regular page on Facebook is PK Space Dixon. My website is itsmymoneyjournal.info, and as we mentioned earlier, in case you missed it, I do host a financial podcast. It's called The Money Exchange, and it's on all podcast platforms, including Pandora.
Amazing. So make sure you follow and support her, and follow her, connect with her, and get involved, because like I stated, PK is definitely somebody to know, to all of our listeners that are listening. PK, again, thank you so much for taking the time out of your very busy schedule to come to the table. This has been an amazing interview, and I cannot wait to invite you back.
Thank you so much. You have a fantastic holiday.
You too. So I would like to give a special thanks to Tammy Collins Marquis and John Schamberger. I would also like to give a special thanks to author Kimberly McLemore and my intern Sarah from Tennessee State University and my intern Vontaria from Winston-Salem State University. You all may follow me on Facebook at Ashley Little and on Instagram at _Ashley A. Little. Thank you.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Creating Your Seat at the Table, where Ashley speaks with corporate professionals, celebrities, entrepreneurs, authors, and speakers who are transitioning or have transitioned to entrepreneurship.